The views and opinions on this show are for entertainment purposes only. The only factual information is any story that has happened to AT2 or the parties involved. Other than that, go ahead and get you a drink, get you something to eat, just relax and enjoy the show. Let's have fun. All right, y'all, let's get real. Man, the only thing I can say about this situation is like father, like son, right? Let's go ahead and get into the show, y'all. What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? Whew, man, it's a lot going on today. So let me go ahead and say what's up to the people, and then we're going to go ahead and just start with all this craziness, right? What's up, Starnique? What's up, D-Dot? What's up, Denitria? Shout out to Denitria for holding it down for the mods. I appreciate you. What's up, Queen B Moore? Shout out to all my members. What's up, Casey? How you doing? Shout out to everybody on Facebook too, by the way. And as always, make sure you guys check out our sponsors as well too. Inspired by Candle Company. Shout out to our friend Brandy. Let me go ahead and take this down real quick. Also, if you use my promo code, you get 10% off AT210. And if your order is over $35, you also get free shipping. So make sure you check them out. This is the Smell Mahogany Bliss. This is from their Man Cave collection. It smells so good, y'all. I promise you. You will not be disappointed. Make sure you guys check them out. What's up, everybody coming in the room? Shout out to everybody. Jill, Desiree, I see y'all up in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you already have it. If it's your first time here, welcome. If it's your last time here, hey, I still got the ad revenue on the video, so it's all good. It's all good. What's up, New York? As soon as you said mahogany, I know. Yeah. And then the other one is cocoa butter. Now that one makes you want to buy like cookies. I told you, I went out to the store and ran and got some cookies. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the heavy topic. Now, I'm going to say this, and y'all gonna hate me, but I got to tell my truth. Knowing that Tyrone Blackburn is the lawyer behind this new lawsuit gives me a little pause. And the reason why is because Tyrone Blackburn was actually called out recently by a judge for fabricating stories for the media. So we're going to get into that, but let me go ahead and read the lawsuit as is. For those of you who don't know, Christian, aka King Combs, is the one being sued as well as with Diddy. Now, the lawsuit hasn't dropped, and let me tell y'all a secret. Y'all don't have to go to Pacer to get the lawsuits. Somebody on Twitter will drop the lawsuit for you. That's a little secret. Don't tell nobody, though. Don't tell nobody. All right. So it says, in a new complaint filed, and this is from People Magazine, in a new complaint filed Thursday in Los Angeles County Superior Court, obtained by NBC News, Grace I think it's Markov, I think, accused Christian, 26, of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and infliction of emotional distress while she was working on a boat chartered by the rapper for a trip in late December 2022. So this was an actual yacht worker. This is for, the company, and it hasn't said where yet. So Gracie, we'll call her Gracie. Grace. I'm sorry. Grace said in the filing per NBC News that she had been 25 years old at the time and worked as a steward on a yacht, providing dinner and drink service to the guests from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. During her shift, she said she saw a constant rotation of suspected S workers and celebrities partying and taking drugs. So she's claiming while she was on the boat, she's seen a whole bunch of lady of the nights in and out the boat while she was working. She claimed in the complaint that around December 28th, 2022, Christian boarded the yacht to record with music producer Rodney Little Rod Jones. So remember, Little Rod is the one that is represented by Tyrone Blackburn as well. And, you know, he said Cuban Gooding Jr. tried to touch him, listed stuff about, whatchamacallit, Young Miami, you know, Carisha and the cousin try to do stuff to him. So that's the same lawyer that's representing this girl. So notice that Little Rod was in this story too as well. Who also filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy of sexual assault. She alleged that when Diddy's son came aboard, he was heavily intoxicated and paid particular attention to her. Then it says Grace then claimed in the complaint that he pressured her to take a shot of tequila, and after she took the drink, he became aggressive and tried to get her drunk more. She said she quickly suspected that the tequila had been spiked after previously witnessing other women fall over and pass out after one drink, and became fearful of its effects. She claimed that things then escalated and Christian allegedly began groping her body and private parts. Again, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. The complaint claimed to have audio recordings taken by Jones, two of which were reviewed by NBC. So here's the thing. She didn't take any recording. Little Rod took recordings. So this is a part of, it's almost like an extension of the Little Rod lawsuit, because Little Rod is claiming like this is stuff that he got on recording. Like all this that happened is on recording. So, and NBC said they listened to the recording. So again, I don't want to say that anybody is lying. I don't think the victims are lying. Again, I'm talking about the lawyer when I say lying. Then it said, Grace declining alcohol, saying she had to leave, and telling Christian Combs to stop touching her with what sounds like kissing noises in the background. Grace said in the complaint that she was finally able to leave the studio and attempted to get back to her duties. However, she said Christian found her again later in the night and insisted that she find a place to sleep. So I noticed that it said studio as well too. So I'm guessing a studio must be in the yacht too as well. And you know, basically, if you got a machine, a computer, and a microphone, you can call anywhere a studio. So I don't want you guys to get confused. Literally, if I have a microphone, I can say I have a studio, this bedroom, because I ain't got no bed. I still ain't got a bed. Shut up. But I can call this a studio. So anywhere can be called a studio. So I don't want you guys to get too confused by that. Or the terminology, I should say. So continuing, she claimed that after she directed him to Yacht Cinema, which was another sleeping space, he blocked her in and began groping her. So this is when she tried to leave and he still was trying to pressure her. She alleged that he had grabbed her arms and was trying to force her to perform oral sex on him, trigger warning, and even included photos of bruising on her arms, and she claimed were caused by Christian groping her, according to NBC News. Grace said she fought him off until someone else walked into the room. She said in the filing that she complained to the yacht captain the next day, but alleged that he did not believe her and that he did not investigate. She also claims that he retaliated against her until she was let go a few months later in May 2023. So she's claiming that she was also fired, and her captain, you know, of the yacht did not investigate at all. That's very alarming. He did not investigate, because here's my thing. Since the captain didn't investigate, Wouldn't this be more like a work issue? I'm not saying that she can't sue Diddy and Combs, but Diddy and Christian, but shouldn't the yacht company be sued as well too? Put a one in the chat if you agree that the yacht company should be sued as well too. Again, I'm not saying Diddy should not be sued, but the yacht company should be sued. Okay, y'all agree with me. Yeah, the yacht company needs to be sued. And she was fired. Oh, she about to get hella money. Even if she don't get money from Diddy, she gonna get some money. Right, Patrice? Right. I'm all like, yeah, you should definitely sue the company. Following her job termination, she claimed in the lawsuit that her mental health deteriorated and she suffered from anxiety, panic attacks, and severe the S word where you want to unalive yourself. She also claimed she developed an eating disorder and epileptic seizures as a result of the incident. Mm. Per NBC News, Diddy was also named as a defendant in the lawsuit for aiding and abetting his son and the alleged assault under premises liability as the person who chartered the yacht. So this is where the Diddy comes. So Diddy did not do anything to this girl, but because he's the one that supplied the yacht, bought the yacht, that is why. So this is why Diddy is in it, because he's the one that bought the yacht. And also too, for those of you who don't know, if somebody gets drunk at your house and they get into an accident or something like that, you can be held liable too. So it's it's a whole snowball effect when it comes to this kind of stuff, unfortunately. And make sure you guys are hitting the like button. On my end, it only says I got 3 likes. How many likes we got, you guys? It falls back on Diddy. Yeah, since he chartered it. You ever work in food service? They've done my old co-workers exactly like this, treated as disposable. Right, New York, exactly. That's why, y'all, let me tell you, I do. One of the choices of going back into the workforce is having people to be able to tell you crazy stuff and you just have to deal with it and suck it up. I don't like that at all. So then it goes on to continue. I applaud Grace for being so brave to come forward for her truth. Her other attorney, Rodney, so she does have another attorney on this. Rodney S. Diggs added, hopefully her story will inspire others to come forward. And Tyrone did make a statement too. He said, and this is where I got the like father, like son. He said, like father, like son, it gives us no joy or pleasure in filing this suit against Christian Combs. Grace attorney Tyrone Blackburn said in a statement to NBC. I know Diddy's attorney did say something. Oh, that was regarding the raids. Then they talk about the home raids and stuff like that. All right. So let me take this picture down before we get into everything. So NBC is claiming that they heard the recordings. So it does seem like there's some truth in this, right? There's some truth in the lawsuit because NBC is saying they heard their recordings themselves. Now, I don't know how, well, obviously we know how Tyrone Blackburn obviously gave it to him. But, I wonder, are they going to put the recordings out so then we can hear it for ourselves and then we can make our own judgment on what we believe and what we don't believe. But I will tell you something about Tyrone Blackburn. He knows how to get the media stirred up and get a media attention and basically make you look a certain kind of way. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to curate a story and make you look like you crazy. So then so going back to the story, as far as Christian, I know before this recent girlfriend, he had another girlfriend, but again, just because he's in a relationship doesn't mean that he wouldn't want to try or he's not going to try. Trust me. Somebody who he not necessarily as powerful as his father, but has his father influence, I'm pretty sure he might get into trouble and do some stuff that he shouldn't. And again, I have to say allegedly, I don't know for a fact, but again, he has his dad's influence, so he probably feels just as powerful that he can do anything too as well. Definitely, I think Grace, it's a disservice that Blackburn is not also including, and mind you, we have not seen the lawsuit, but Blackburn isn't suing the captain of the boat, the charter company, the people that are actually charting the yacht. They should have been the first one on this. This actually should have been a workers, because I don't know if you guys know, but if you guys ever have wrongful termination and stuff like that, there's like a labor board that you can talk to, and they can actually represent you for free 99. Like, they will take some of your settlement money, but they can represent you for free 99. Like, you can contact the labor board. That's what should have happened more than this like salacious lawsuit. Like, if they wanted to do this lawsuit, yes, thank you. Thank you, OG Patrice. Exactly, those people. The EEOC, that's who she should have contacted first. And then if she wanted to do Christian and Diddy, then do that separately. Because basically, this is going to tie her up in court. Where that other one, these claims, easily, they'll be calling her every day trying to settle. Because that is definitely a stronger lawsuit than this one. I think even with the recordings, she has a stronger lawsuit against her previous employer, because not so okay. So again, we have to say allegedly. However, if you bring up an issue to your boss and your boss does not address it, take it to HR, or probably they don't have an HR, but if your boss did not address the situation and didn't do an investigation, and you had a conversation and it's not written down anywhere, you could definitely sue their ass. And that would be an easy lawsuit for her to win without even, going into whether the allegations are true. She would easily win that, right? So now we go over here to the whole thing with Christian and Diddy and stuff like that, right? This is going to be tough because of who her lawyer is. Tyrone Blackburn is not the same. He was just accused yesterday in an article for writing salacious lawsuits. And lawyer Densie Cote was the one who actually recommended that, well, not recommended, reported him to the New York Superior Court. Let me go ahead and pull up that article real quick. And for those of you who don't know who Tyrone Blackburn is, that's him in the middle. He's the one that represented all those victims of T.I. and Tiny. And remember, that went nowhere. The victims are nowhere to be found. It's like it got erased from history. And remember the other day we had said that Sabrina Peterson was the only one that we actually knew by name, and she ended up having to pay T.I. and Tiny. So it says Tyrone Blackburn. This is from the Baller Alert. Shout out to Baller Alert. Tyrone Blackburn, the attorney who filed one of the high-profile sexual abuse lawsuits against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, is now under the spotlight for potential disciplinary action, Billboard reports. This development comes after a federal judge critiqued Blackburn's approach to filing lawsuits, suggesting they aim to attract media buzz and embarrass defendants rather than seeking justice. That tells you everything you need to know. Now, I'm going to be fair and continue reading, but how do we feel about Tyrone Blackburn? I'm going to ask you now, and then I'm going to ask you after I finish reading. Tyrone Blackburn, do you believe this guy is actually seeking justice, or is he seeking a paycheck? Remember, besides just T.I. and Tiny, he also the one that represents Jennifer Huff against Nicki Minaj and also Kenneth Petty. Husband and wife, that whole thing. And they ended up having to drop Nicki because she had nothing to do with it. What's up, Blessing? Do you feel like he has good intentions, or is this all for media? Both, I believe. Okay, no. He's seeking a paycheck. Okay. What's Stephanie say? Okay. And shout out to my cuz real quick. And believe it or not, because I guess there's a rumor that my family hates me. My family actually does love me. I just want to let y'all know. Even though they get on my nerves, and I'm pretty sure I get on their nerves, they do love me because y'all love. I seen another video, bro. I talked to the auntie. I talked to the auntie. I'm like, oh my god. We'll talk about it on the backup channel, y'all. But anyway, it says Judge Densie Cote, overseeing a separate legal malpractice lawsuit filed by Blackburn, pointed out his questionable legal practices across 5 different cases. According to Judge Cote, Blackburn's pattern of filing seems designed to generate media coverage and embarrass defendants with sensational claims, pressuring them towards a quick settlements. I can't deny, because remember the T.I. and Tiny? The one of the claims was that T.I. stuck his foot in the girl's pussoise. Y'all remember that, right? One of the claims was that T.I. stuck his I'm sorry, not the foot, the toe, in the girl's pussoise. And those for you who don't know what pussoise is, use your imagination. We got ads to be put on this video. We don't want to ruin it. Now, I'm not gonna say T.I. and Tiny, they ain't freaks. We all know T.I. and Tiny are freaks, right? That's without a question. We know they freaks. That's no allege. It's a fact that they're freaks, right? But a whole toe? What? If you go back and look at Tyrone Blackburn's lawsuits and claims and stuff that didn't even get filed because it was statute of limitations on it. So that didn't even get filed. But going back to what I was saying, all the claims that he has of the victims are always so extreme and elaborate. This news emerges amid Blackburn's ongoing role as the leading attorney for Rodney Little Rod Jones. In a comprehensive abuse case against Combs filed this February, Combs facing several such accusations, and a criminal probe recently has vehemently denied all charges. Ooh, I'll be struggling with that V word. Blackburn, undeterred by the judge's comments, insists this will not affect his capacity to continue representing Jones, even planning to appeal Judge Cote's decision. So he plans on appealing it. Right, OG Patrice. Yeah, the freakazoids. Exactly. Okay, so he plans on appealing it and all that stuff. But she said 5 other cases, they're always so elaborate. And again, Stephanie, if you can answer this for me, but is it common for a lawyer to talk to the press before they file the lawsuit? Because I feel like even Lisa Bloom, who's about a paycheck and media attention too, even Lisa Bloom at least files the lawsuit before, they do that whole press conference thing. Is that common to announce it? There's a lawsuit coming, be ready. No, you would just file it. That's crazy to me. Oh, and now Stephanie's not going to answer. Okay, thank you. What's up, Melanie? How you doing? Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Make sure y'all hit that like button as well, too. Okay. The flamboyant one do, but no. Okay, see, that's the thing. He's announcing everything. Instead of letting it play out in court, he gave the audio to NBC because NBC said, NBC is saying, whatchamacallit, that we heard the recordings. That's what it said in that article by People. They heard the recordings. Mind you, the lawsuit is not even available for us to look at yet. So how did they already get it? He gave it to them. He knows how to sway the media. That's very alarming that this man is able to do that. Everything is for media's attention. Instead of him just dropping the lawsuit and then, because it's not that, we're contacting Tyrone Blackburn to get a statement. That's one thing, right? I'm contacting Tyrone Blackburn to get a statement because he filed a lawsuit. Boom. Obviously, your lawyer releases a statement on your behalf and all that stuff, right? But he's literally going to them and be like, hey, I got this hot case. I want to go ahead and drop this for you. And again, all of them, just like that judge was saying, all of them seem so elaborate and they don't make any sense at all. And it's just to get a quick settlement. I'm going to make it so outrageous, so outlandish that you'll never want to go to court. You're just going to want to automatically settle. And again, I don't think that he's making up victims. I don't think that at all. I think he's taking victims and, you know, creating stories and exaggerating those stories. Yeah, he's taking victims and exaggerating their stories. That's what he's doing, you know. No, this is not a call-in show. But I might let you up, Stephanie, because we did. Thank you, because you did send me this article. But you know how I get frustrated with the call-ins and stuff like that. So there is another article here where, you know, and shout out to Stephanie because she sent this to me, where, you know, he's being sued because he literally took money from a settlement and started his own company. You know, he started his own company, his legal practice. Let me drop this for you real quick, Stephanie. Hold on. And make sure you guys are hitting that like button as well too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay, I sent it to you, Stephanie. Okay. And I'm pulling up that article right now while we wait. Oh, so let me go ahead and ask you guys a question. Okay, so again, do you feel that Tyrone Blackburn is all about attention, or do you feel like he wants to get justice? Is he for justice, or is he for attention, or seeking a paycheck? You can do either or. 30 seconds. So according to Business Insider, it said Tyrone Blackburn, who previously worked at Morgan Stanley, used the money he won during a legal dispute with the firm to launch his own law practice. So this guy has always been really shady. Attention, paycheck, paycheck. Yeah. He's out for himself. He don't care about any of these victims. Attention and money, both more clout to say. Exactly. It's all about the money at the end of the day. Because why are all these lawsuits so extreme? All of them, literally all his lawsuits are always like, what? Like, it's like literally you're hearing like somebody's real nightmare. You know how like a nightmare or like a dream never makes sense? That's what literally it is. Now, I will say, with Little Rod had been, since early February, have been trying to get his money from Diddy. Well, even before then, but the first time he went public was in early February. And then all of a sudden, that lawsuit drops at the end of February, I believe. And then that's when we find out, oh, Tyrone Blackburn is his lawyer, you know? Oh, and shout out to everybody in Jersey and New York. They had an earthquake. You know, we're used to earthquakes over here in Cali, but they're not used to earthquakes over there. And you know, I asked, like, I was like, oh, are you guys built for earthquakes? And they're like, no. They said we had to evacuate and run out the building. And I'm all like, no, that's not what you do during an earthquake. What you do during an earthquake, you're supposed to like hide somewhere and like duck under. So then, when things are shaking and falling, you're not getting hit. You're supposed to hide. Oh Lord, they don't even know how to. We used to always do in elementary school. We used to always do practices on how to prepare for earthquakes and stuff like that. Uh, in all fairness, that's why they're calling ambulance chasers. Yeah, that's what he is. He's literally Is this the real Tyrone Blackburn? Hold on, what? What's wrong with the camera thing? I think your internet. Stephanie, your internet. Oh, Lord. I knew she was going to have problems with her internet. Her internet is not working. Let me tell her. Your internet is not working. Your internet. But yeah, I believe that once he sees one person, and somebody might just be telling him a story or venting to him, he'd be all like, oh, I think you should do a lawsuit. Instead of them just venting and telling their story, he literally is looking for, okay, do you have a problem with Diddy? Did he do something to you? Okay, let's file a lawsuit. It's all like he's filing all these lawsuits, but literally these people are going to end up effed up because they're actually seeking justice. This man is seeking, a huge payday, and he wants to be top notch. But the thing is that no one knew who a Tyrone Blackburn was before he got involved with the whole Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty thing. No one really knew who he was until he started messing with T.I. and Tiny and representing their victims. And now he hopped on this Diddy trend, which he wasn't the first. Cassie dropped her lawsuit, and she was represented by Harvey Weinstein's victims' lawyers. That's who she was represented by, right? So he wasn't necessarily the first with this Diddy thing. However, it seems that, okay, now he wants to drop multiple lawsuits with the same, like, come on now. And why would anybody go to you if you've never won a case? Like, he's literally the Phaedra Parks of the entertainment world. He's the Phaedra Parks. What's up, Stephanie? How you doing?
Can you hear me now? Are we good now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, is there somewhere you can look up if a lawyer has ever won a case before?
No,
like your
I
record?
don't think so.
Okay.
No, no.
Like in sports and shit, huh?
Yeah, I wish. But so I wish there was, because that one Business Insider article you read about how he took the money from the settlement and started his firm.
Mm-hmm.
That was his own case. He represented himself against his former employer. What was it? Morgan Stanley, I think.
Yeah, Morgan Stanley. Yeah.
So that was a crazy case. This man has been in so many salacious, over the top, just wild cases. Like, that's everything you can find about him. The facts that he alleges in his suits are, they're spectacular. They're 1 in a million type things. And that suit he won against Morgan Stanley, he was his own plaintiff. He represented himself. But it's been going on for like a decade, because he sued them for racial discrimination. And it was a big throwdown. And then the people who got fired for being allegedly racially discriminating against Tyrone came back and sued Morgan Stanley for basically reverse racial discrimination, because they said he targeted them because they were white. So this man has always been, and I don't buy into that reverse racism stuff, but I'm just saying, this man has always been in crazy lawsuits that are just like over the top. Like this
Right. They're
never
always
handled
over the
them.
top.
Yeah, this guy's never seemed to find himself just a regular Play-Doh car wreck. Like that's not what he does. um, and so I mean, I think it was bound to happen that he got referred to the grievance committee, because I mean, it's just, you can only pull this for so long. You really
Right.
only can be in the media, filing big, uh, you know, uh, with media, like basically, suits that are going to hit the media, just right. You can only do that for so long before, it starts catching people's attention. And what he's been doing, and what the grievance is actually like, the basis of the grievance, that or the referral to the grievance committee by Judge Cote,
Mm-hmm.
is basically what he's done most of the time in these celebrity cases, especially. Like, he did it with Nicki. He never filed a suit against Ti and Tidy, so that's not the
Right. He
thing.
never filed. Yeah.
Right. I think he let Sabrina Peterson, if I'm correct, he let Sabrina Peterson hang out to dry on when they sued her for
Yeah.
the
Now he did
libel.
represent Sabrina Peterson. He did
Okay, he
represent her.
did. Okay. I didn't know if he was her attorney or not.
Yeah, he
But,
was the only one because that was the only victim that put a name on it, and
right,
that was the only one where they actually had like some kind of case they could file
right.
something.
But it ended up being just slander and libel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they countersued for slander and libel, and they're the only ones who won so far.
Right.
Um, uh, but on the Nikki suit, on there was another suit he did where it was like this. Um, but basically, he's got a trail of suits where he's been in the media, and the first petition has made wild, allegations, right? Like,
Hmm.
wasn't just like slap your mama, this is so crazy, I've never seen anything like this, right?
Right.
And then once he hits the media and it starts getting a lot of coverage, and then they get attorneys and they start pushing back, what he does is he quietly, he does not publicize it, although usually his opponents do. What he will do is go back and file a second amended petition and
Which is
clean
what
it
he's
all
doing with
up.
Little Rod.
Yeah, and he'll clean it all up and start like narrowing it down, and tailoring it down to something that actually sounds relatively normal. And the judges are starting to see this and go like, we see you, we see you. Your first petition
Mm.
is crazy, your second petition actually makes somewhat more sense, right? And it's like, we
Right.
see your pattern.
And I want you guys to hear what Stephanie said. I'm gonna clean it up for her. So basically, what she's saying is that he'll file the first lawsuit. It's crazy. It's over exaggerated, right? And then what he'll do is an amendment, and so he'll start cleaning it up and making it look all good. More like a normal lawsuit. I hate to say
Right,
normal because there is no normal, but a normal regular lawsuit, like the one with Little Rod. He actually went in for a third and fourth amendment to like remove some people out of it
mm-hmm.
because yeah, he's been doing so much, and just including just random names, and it's all like, yo, we have nothing to do with this, like.
Right,
And so yeah, and like Stephanie said, they're starting to notice a pattern that he's going in and doing these amendments to try to clean them up and stuff like that. Go ahead, Stephanie,
right.
take it back over.
Yeah, so they're starting to see this pattern, and they're like, dude, there is a certain standard of deference that you give attorneys when they file lawsuits. Like,
Hmm.
not everything in your lawsuit has to be 100% like correct. Like, if they find out something was wrong, or that you had bad information, like, that's not something that they're going to like start. You're not going to get criminal charges. You're not going to get grieved to the bar for something like that. What they're
Right.
actually referring him to the grievance committee for is not what's in the lawsuits, but his pattern of filing and amending, filing and amending, filing and amending.
Right.
And they're like, look, you we'll leave it up to the grievance committee to decide. But right now, in my court, I'm seeing this pattern, and I have no choice but to refer you to the grievance committee and let them investigate this.
Right. And question for you, Stephanie. So, is there any way that they can ask the clients like, "Hey, is everything listed here? Do you agree with?" Or
Ah, that's
because I
tricky
just want to
because
know, like, I would be all like, "So everything that your lawyer put in here, you agree with?" Like,
yeah, I mean that's sort of a violation of attorney-client privilege, and if
Oh, okay, okay.
you as a client grieve your attorney, like if they turn around and they're like, this man got me into some bull, and they grieve him also, they're going to be waiving their attorney-client privilege. And so the grievance committee
Mm.
could then say, like, well, did he force you into this? Did he make this up? Did he suggest this? Yada yada. But up until the time when they've agreed to waive that attorney-client privilege, the grievance committee probably can't ask them anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
But
and I was. Oh, go ahead.
no, 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 no. Sure,
I
show,
was
man.
gonna I was gonna say something too. So the lawsuit that he filed with against Diddy and his son, I noticed that he had someone else on it, this Rodney Briggs guy, and I'm assuming because he probably can only practice in New York because they filed it in LA, this recent lawsuit.
Okay, yeah, probably. He probably has local counsel that's cooperating. Yeah.
Now, with having a lawyer that's cooperating with him, right? Are they at risk of, going to the grievance board too?
Mm, you know,
Because
eh,
I would not work with Tyrone Blackburn. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I'll be like,
uh,
nah, dude, you go ahead and do it yourself.
uh, nah, nah. I wouldn't even pick up the phone if it said Tyrone Blackburn and it was a New York number. I'd probably block that shit.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna try to look up if he can practice in LA.
I think, yeah, I think it's probably a bad idea. I wouldn't recommend a colleague to work with him on one case, but I don't know that he's as much at risk, because they're not alleging he's engaged in the same pattern over the same amount of time.
Right, right. And how do you feel? Because like I know we've been dragging Tyrone Blackburn because yeah, he seems like a potential scammer allegedly, right? But NBC News is claiming that they heard recordings of this interaction between the girl and Christian Combs.
Okay.
So would you? So, like I said, I still go with. I do believe that there are actual victims because people are going to be like, "Oh, you guys are against victims." So, this is why I want this clarification. Like, I believe that there are actual victims, but the stories that he is telling are exaggerated. Like, um, like you want to fully believe everything that's listed, but then you don't because it's all like this guy is known for over exaggerating things. And I mean, how does the lawyer reputation also can hurt or help you? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, I think, because a lot of these cases do resolve in settlement, they negotiate between the parties, or there's some sort of mediated agreement or something like that. Um, if you have a reputation as being someone who can't be trusted,
Mhm.
someone who, uh, I mean, you paint yourself out to be weak, right? You paint yourself out to be someone who is, how do I say this? I mean, if he's just alleging a lot of things that are so salacious they can't possibly be true, then why negotiate with this guy? Why?
Right.
Yeah, and also, another problem that Mr. Blackburn has is that, procedurally, he seems to make a lot of mistakes. Like he
Hmm.
misses, yeah, he's mistaken about statute of limitations issues. He's mistaken about venue and jurisdiction. He's been just procedurally on the law. It seems like that is not as important to him, or really his focus, rather than, just putting somebody in the news.
Right.
And
And he has
yeah,
missed filing dates too. I remember
yes,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
filing dates, and then they had to go back in, and then
Yeah. And he makes opposing party. I mean, there's times when you have to say like, man, it's war, right? But at the same
hmm
time, like, there's a certain kind of expectation of ethics when you deal with opposing counsel, and you certainly don't go to the media and tell them something that is tell the media something that they said or did. And especially like when he was talking about what T.I. and Tiny's lawyers said to him about, no
right.
settlement, no deal, whatever, it sounded really like he made it up. It really did. It sounded like he made it up. And opposing counsel went to the media and said, no, I didn't say that. At that point, like, no one is going to negotiate with you. No one's going to respect
Right.
you. And it's just like, look, take your lawsuit and go amend it 50 times and then we'll talk.
Right. So, last question for you. So, a strategy for Diddy's lawyers, could they possibly use Tyrone's reputation in this T.I. and Tiny, Nicki Minaj as a way to persuade the judge?
Well, maybe not the judge so much, and it wouldn't be admissible in front of the jury. I'm not sure that the judge would, um, but possibly. I mean, I think they could use that to inform how they attack this suit as well, as far as, um, refusing to settle, or, filing certain motions to compel discovery, compel depositions, really nail people down on the facts because he has such a reputation of being dishonest or likely dishonest. Let's just say that.
Right. We gotta be
Right.
careful. Yeah.
And, I do want to say one thing that I
Yeah,
think
go
is very
ahead.
interesting because I've followed Tyrone Blackburn for a long time. I'm an expert in Tyrone Blackburn isms. And he, I think the complainant who was on the yacht that we were just talking about, right? That he's
hmm
representing. She said that she had a drink of that it was a tequila drink that she felt was spiked.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the two complainants that were named in the T.I. and Tiny allegations, that's exactly what
Oh,
they said.
it was. They said
Yeah,
tequila. Yeah.
yep. And they thought it was spiked. Usually when your drink is spiked, you can't taste it. Um, and usually you don't remember. I mean, most most of the time, the reason it's dangerous to consume something that's been, laced or spiked, usually the substances used to spike those drinks are things that will put you flat out and you won't remember what's happening. Um,
Right.
and the number one date our drug in this country is alcohol. It's
hmm
alcohol. Usually if people are drinking, it's not really, I hate to say necessary, but it's people. There's a lot of instances when people they didn't need to be drugged. They were just so intoxicated on alcohol that things that it became a dangerous situation. And so it just, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I kind of have a sort of skepticism a lot of times when it comes to other substances being alleged because
Right.
a lot of times all it would need all
Well,
to put yourself in a dangerous
basically, what you're
situation
saying
is
is
to
that if she was drugged, she would have a hard time remembering anything because
yeah,
she would have passed. She would have passed out from,
right,
because she said the other girls actually passed out, and
yeah,
there she's seen girls falling over after they just took one drink. But
yeah,
like you said, like that would definitely be something that would hit her instantly, and
yes, that's
she would
how
have a
they're
hard time
designed,
even remembering what
right,
happened. Just like when Tyrone was talking about another victim with the Ti and Tiny, he said, "Oh, she woke up and she
yeah,
noticed things weren't right." This wasn't a situation. The girl actually said she was able to get away. So
right,
then that would mean that she probably wasn't drugged then.
yeah. I mean, and I think I think we place a lot. I mean, just a PSA, if I could, I think we place a lot of emphasis on making sure your drinks don't get spiked. When a lot of times, like what we really need to worry about is actually not drinking to excess to the point where, like, things can happen just from what we're already willingly consuming. It's
Right.
that's a more common and bigger danger to us. And so I just don't know. It doesn't sound like a particular extra added substance. It sounds like alcohol. It has
Hmm.
all the signs and symptoms of alcohol intoxication.
Right, right. It could possibly just be the alcohol.
Right. Typically, that's what it is. Typically that's the most common thing that it leads to a diminished capacity is alcohol in and of itself.
Right, right. Well, Stephanie, I appreciate you coming up here.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, the book of Tyrone Blackburn is long and crazy, and it's just
Mhm.
it's really wild what this man has come to. I mean, what he has resorted to, you wouldn't even believe. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right, right. This is just the tip. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more information coming out about him soon. Stuff we never
Yeah,
even knew about.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the man is not afraid of some media, even when the media drags him. I mean, they will get him. The first time he did that press conference about Ti and Tiny, he gave a
Hmm.
press conference to the New York Times. I don't know. He gave a press conference to a assembly of press outlets. Right? They were all in the room, and he was talking. And when they actually started asking him about, well, what are you alleging? What happened or whatever? He just shut up. He sort of like locked up and he just said, "Well, you need to read the New York Times article." And they started saying like, "Well, why are we here? Like as
Yeah, why are we
journalists,
here?
we're here to do a press conference. If you wanted us to read the New York Times article, he could have stayed home." And it was, I mean, they were
Right.
on him, but but here he goes again. That don't stop him. That don't stop him.
Oh, right.
So
That
he
yeah,
really,
that guy is a trip. Yeah,
he really is. All
yeah.
right. Well, thanks,
Thank you,
Taylor.
Stephanie, for coming up. I
Okay,
appreciate you. Thank
sure.
you,
Bye.
cuz. Shout out to Stephanie, everybody. Thank you for coming up. I really do appreciate that. Tina, how you just got away with where they? Oh, okay. So you believe that they were guilty? Like I said, I'm not gonna say Ti and Tiny aren't freaks. I just can't accuse them of a crime, especially if Tyrone Blackburn didn't even file it. All right, you guys, that's the end of our show. We almost been here for an hour. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Demetria told me like y'all didn't even get me to 100 likes. What the hell's wrong with y'all? But anyway, like I said, whether you guys believe it or not, I just wanted to give you both perspectives because, like I said, I do believe that people are victims. It's just getting involved with this Tyrone Blackburn guy. I'm like, no telling whether or not what is true, what is not true, because all of his lawsuits going through his history and his claims that he makes against people are so elaborate. And it's all like, wait, what is actually the truth? And I'm glad Stephanie brought up that he amends a lot, where he puts so much salacious stuff in a lawsuit and then he starts taking stuff out and amending it. So pay attention to that too, as well, because I'm pretty sure he's probably going to do this with this lawsuit coming up too. But anyway, you guys, again, make sure you check out our friends Inspired by Candle Company. Oh, there we go. There we go. You can see it now. Mahogany Bliss is I always want to say flavor, but the smell, it smells awesome. Make sure you guys check it out and use my promo code AT210 for 10% off. It's pinned up right at the top. But I appreciate you guys for being here. We'll be back a little later, you guys. Thank y'all for rocking with your boy AT2. Love y'all. Deuces. But we out of here. Bye, everybody. We out. Oh, where the hell is my outro? Here's my outro.